Imagine a world where nothing anyone says or does can knock you off balance. Visualize yourself navigating through life's challenges with unwavering poise, unaffected by the chaos that swirls around you. It sounds almost like a superpower, doesn't it? However, mastering your emotions isn't reserved for the few. It's a skill that anyone can cultivate with determination and consistent effort. Let's delve into how we can liberate ourselves from the grips of anger and irritation, regardless of the circumstances we face. The secret lies in recognizing that our feelings are under our control, not dictated by others' actions or words. When faced with negativity, we have the option to pause, take a deep breath, and choose serenity over reaction. This empowering perspective stems from the belief that your joy is yours to command. Committing to this path means understanding that changes in your reaction patterns require daily mindfulness. By consciously maintaining your inner calm, you can remain steadfast through any emotional upheaval. Adopt this mindset, and you'll find yourself navigating life with deliberate, peaceful choices. The concept of emotional detachment is pivotal here. This doesn't mean ignoring your feelings or pushing them aside. Instead, it involves observing your emotions from a distance, like watching a scene unfold in a movie rather than being an actor in it. In many Buddhist teachings, it's explained that intense emotions like anger often arise from clinging too tightly to specific outcomes or taking things too personally. By seeing these emotional reactions as temporary events, we can stop, reflect, and let them pass without immediate action. For instance, recall a time when someone's harsh words sparked an urge to retaliate. This reaction is typical, as we're programmed to defend ourselves against perceived threats. However, emotional detachment invites a more reflective approach. Take a moment to breathe and mentally step back. Question the source of your feelings. Is it the actual words, or is it fear of what they might mean? By identifying and acknowledging your emotions as fleeting states, similar to clouds passing through the sky, you can observe them without becoming entangled. Just as you wouldn't chase after a cloud, you don't need to grasp onto your feelings. Learning to view your emotions as transient visitors rather than permanent fixtures in your mind helps lessen their impact and influence over your actions. This practice, while straightforward, requires patience and persistence. Many of us are taught to immediately externalize our emotions, but there is another way. Whether you choose to respond with kindness, assertiveness, or perhaps not at all, you have the freedom to decide. For example, if someone's comment catches you on a bad day, instead of lashing out, remind yourself, that comment was hurtful, but it doesn't have to define my day. Take a moment to breathe, assess any physical reactions, and then choose how you wish to proceed. Embracing emotional detachment doesn't imply that you ignore mistreatment or avoid addressing issues. Rather, it means you act from a place of thoughtfulness, not impulsiveness, allowing you to respond in ways that are constructive and considerate. With each practiced response, you reduce the likelihood of escalating conflicts, paving the way for clearer, more effective communication. Through regular practice, the skill of emotional detachment not only becomes more accessible, but also profoundly transformative, enabling you to face life's challenges with grace and resilience. Think of mastering your emotions like exercising. The more you practice, the stronger you become. Begin with the small irritations, such as being cut off in traffic. Instead of reacting with a honk or a shout, pause and recognize the rise of anger. Remind yourself, this moment doesn't deserve my peace. Such restraint isn't a sign of weakness, but a choice for serenity over unnecessary strife. Over time, this skill expands, enabling you to face more significant challenges with composure. Many fear that emotional detachment might leave them cold or indifferent, But this is a misconception. Detachment doesn't mean disconnecting from your feelings. It means managing them without being overwhelmed. You remain the captain of your ship, capable of navigating through emotional storms with foresight and grace. You're still compassionate and empathetic. Your inner calm just shields you from emotional turbulence. Mindfulness is an invaluable tool in this journey. It involves being fully present in the moment, observing your thoughts and surroundings without judgment. Whether you're washing dishes or listening to a friend, mindfulness keeps you engaged with the here and now, which sharpens your ability to detect and manage rising emotions. Deep breathing is another simple yet powerful technique. It triggers your body's relaxation response, helping to quell rising anger or frustration. When you feel these emotions surfacing, take slow, deliberate breaths to create a mental space that allows for a more measured response. Journaling can further enhance your emotional detachment. Regularly writing down your experiences and reactions helps you identify triggers and patterns. This awareness prepares you for future encounters, enabling you to remain calm and collected even before a potential emotional spike. Meditation also plays a crucial role. Daily practice, even for just a few minutes, can significantly improve your ability to control your thoughts and remain focused. Visualizing peaceful scenes during meditation can help maintain mental tranquility in stressful situations. Remember, detaching from your emotions doesn't mean avoiding confrontations or ignoring issues. It's about choosing how to respond in a way that is constructive rather than reactive. For example, if someone repeatedly hurts you, setting boundaries or discussing the issue calmly can be more effective than responding with raw emotion. Emotional detachment isn't about suppression. It's about perspective. It helps you see beyond hurtful remarks to the bigger picture of who you are. It's about acknowledging your emotions, allowing them space, and letting them pass without letting them define you. Lastly, be patient with yourself. Change is a gradual process, and setbacks are part of the journey. Each challenge is an opportunity to practice and refine your approach. Over time, you'll find yourself rebounding from setbacks more quickly and with greater ease. Emotional detachment ultimately offers a profound freedom. It liberates you from being ruled by fleeting emotions. It allows you to live with clarity and peace, ready to face life's challenges with wisdom and grace. 2. Reprogram your mind, the what-if mindset. Shift our minds hold tremendous power, yet we sometimes let them wander down paths that make us feel more angry, hurt, or stressed. Imagine you're in a classroom or workplace and someone says something that seems insulting. Quickly your mind might start asking, why would they say that? Do they think I'm not good enough? When these thoughts pop up, they often spiral into even stronger feelings of anger or frustration. This cycle of negative thinking can leave us feeling trapped, as if we have no other way to react. However, there is another path we can take, a path rooted in curiosity, empathy, and a willingness to see the bigger picture. In Buddhism, there is a teaching that reminds us our thoughts don't have to control us. We can guide them in a healthier direction by using what some call the what-if mindset. Instead of letting anger grow, we shift to asking questions that help us learn and understand. For example, if someone criticizes you, it's easy to snap back or silently brood. But with the what-if method, you pause and say to yourself, what if this is a moment for me to grow? What if the person who spoke harshly is dealing with stress at home or is frustrated about something entirely different? These questions don't excuse rude behavior. Rather, they open a small door in your mind that allows new possibilities to enter. This space is where you can reflect before reacting. Let's dive deeper into why this approach can be so powerful. When anger arises, it usually clings to a specific story about what happened. That story might be, they criticized me, so they must be out to get me, or they think I'm not good enough. In truth, we can never be completely sure what's going on inside another person's head. They might be having a terrible day, or they might be struggling in ways we can't see. Even if they genuinely mean to be rude, it helps us more to stay calm than to let ourselves be rattled. The what-if questions give us a gentle push to look beyond our first interpretation. Maybe the real lesson is to strengthen our patience or to learn how to communicate better under pressure. Think of the what-if mindset as a tool you can use anywhere, at home, at school, with friends, or with co-workers. For instance, suppose your friend cancels plans at the last minute. Initially, you might feel hurt or angry. They don't respect me or my time. But then, you remember your new way of thinking. You pause and ask, what if my friend had an emergency? Or what if they are feeling overwhelmed and need support right now? This shift doesn't mean you ignore your feelings. You might still feel disappointed. However, you allow yourself to explore other angles, which can soothe your emotions and prevent a blow-up. You might send a calm text to your friend asking if everything is okay. By doing this, you keep the door open for understanding rather than slamming it shut with anger. In many ways, the mind is like a computer that follows the program we install. If we fill it with thoughts like, everything is against me, or people are always trying to hurt me, we end up seeing the world as a harsh and unfriendly place. But when we practice the what-if questions, we change the code our mind runs on. Instead of always jumping to the worst-case scenario, we plant seeds of empathy and curiosity. Over time, we start to see more than just conflict. We see lessons, possibilities, and opportunities to grow. It's not about being naive or letting others walk all over us. It's about recognizing that our first emotional reaction isn't always the full story. This approach also helps us with self-awareness. Often when someone's words make us angry, we're reacting not just to what was said in that moment, but also to memories of past hurts. Maybe you once felt embarrassed in front of a group, and now any slight criticism brings that same old pain rushing back. The what-if mindset encourages you to step back and ask, what if my reaction has more to do with my past feelings than what's happening right now? By identifying these hidden layers, you gain the power to address them. You might realize you need to work on self-confidence or heal from older wounds, and that realization can be an important step toward personal growth. A helpful practice is to write down your what-if questions when anger bubbles up. Let's say you keep a small journal or a note-taking app on your phone. The next time someone's words make you upset, pause and type out, what if this is a chance to understand them better? What if I can learn something about myself from this? Even if you still feel upset, the process of writing out the question slows your emotional reaction and gives your rational mind time to catch up. You might notice you become calmer after just a few moments. Jotting down your thoughts also helps you track patterns in your emotional life. Over time, you might see that certain topics or people repeatedly trigger you, and you can then plan better ways to cope. Another way to practice the what-if mindset is to combine it with mindfulness. Mindfulness means paying attention to the present moment, your breath, your surroundings, and the sensations in your body. When anger arises, your heartbeat might speed up, your face may feel hot, or your shoulders could tense. Instead of labeling these things as bad, just notice them. Acknowledge that you're experiencing anger. Then bring in your what-if questions. For example, I feel anger right now. What if I sit with it instead of pushing it away or acting on it? By doing this, you transform your anger into a subject of curiosity rather than viewing it as an enemy. This gentle curiosity can lower the intensity of your anger and help you find a more balanced response. You can also think of the what-if mindset as a way of exercising empathy. Empathy is the ability to understand and share the feelings of another person. When someone behaves badly, our natural instinct might be to judge them or feel offended. But asking, "What if they are struggling in ways I can't see?" prompts us to consider their humanity. Maybe that person has received bad news, or they are under a lot of stress. This doesn't mean you have to accept insults or allow harmful behavior. Instead, it's about recognizing that everyone carries burdens. When we add empathy to our reactions, we reduce the chance that our response will be purely fueled by anger. We might still need to set boundaries or have a serious talk with the person, but we do so with greater calm and wisdom. Over time, the what-if mindset can help us handle challenges in a way that feels healthier and more peaceful. We grow more resilient because we aren't spinning into rage whenever something goes wrong. Life is full of surprises, some good, some not so good. If our default response to difficulties is always anger or fear, we can end up feeling exhausted. But by practicing curiosity and wonder, we shift our focus. We might still feel disappointment or sadness, but these emotions won't take over completely. We learn to hold them gently and look for the lessons hidden within them. Let's look at a practical example involving criticism. Imagine you present a project at school or work, and someone in the audience says, "This project is poorly planned. I don't like it at all." You feel your stomach tighten and your face get hot. Your immediate internal response might be, "They're so rude, they're insulting my work." Before you let that feeling ignite, pause and breathe slowly. Ask yourself, what if they have a valid point, even if they're not saying it kindly? What if I can use their feedback to improve my project? What if I explain my thinking more clearly and we end up having a valuable discussion? By adopting this mindset, you shift from feeling personally attacked to considering how you might benefit or learn. This doesn't mean you become a doormat. If the person is truly being mean or unfair, you can still calmly point out their tone or choose to address it later. However, you'll be addressing it from a steadier emotional base rather than exploding in anger. People often respond better when they sense you are open to dialogue, even if you disagree. The what-if mindset can turn confrontations into conversations where both sides might walk away with new insights. Practicing this mindset also offers a sense of freedom. Anger, when it festers, can be like a chain, keeping you tethered to resentment and stress. By asking what if, you unlock that chain. You begin to see that every situation, no matter how difficult, can teach you something useful about yourself, about others, or about life in general. Even if the lesson is simply learning to stay calm under fire, that's a valuable skill that will serve you in many areas of life. Of course, changing your usual thought patterns isn't easy. Habits develop over many years, and the habit of jumping to negative conclusions can feel as natural as breathing. But like any other skill, the what-if mindset gets stronger with practice. Start small. The next time you notice even a flicker of anger, maybe in a line at the grocery store or when someone interrupts you, try your new approach. Ask one what-if question. See how it changes your view of that moment. If you slip up and forget, don't be hard on yourself. Recognizing you slipped is already progress, because it means you're aware that a different response is possible. In time, you might be surprised at how much calmer you feel in situations that used to make you furious. You'll find yourself pausing more often, considering different angles, and responding thoughtfully rather than on autopilot. You may even notice that people react more positively to you because calm energy often encourages others to be calm as well. By using the what-if mindset, you not only help yourself, but also create a ripple effect of understanding in your daily interactions. Remember, anger isn't inherently bad. It can signal that something is wrong or needs attention, but it becomes harmful when we act on it without thinking. The what-if mindset helps us respect the signal that anger sends while not letting it overwhelm us. It guides us to solutions rather than to more chaos. Ultimately, this approach is about choosing growth over reactivity. It's about training the mind to stay curious and open, even when faced with conflict. By doing so, we transform negative energy into something that moves us forward. We become more patient, more empathetic, and more in control of our own well-being. 3. The power of self-sovereignty. Own your emotional realm. Self-sovereignty is the idea that we each hold the key to our own emotional well-being. In simpler words, it means we get to decide how we feel, no matter what's happening around us. It's an important concept in Buddhism, where it is taught that no one can force an emotion on us unless we allow them. Even if people say hurtful things, we can choose our response. At first, this might seem strange. After all, we often feel like other people's words cause us to feel angry, sad, or upset. But when we take time to look deeper, we find that we have more power inside than we realized. Think about a time someone said something unkind to you. Maybe they teased you or blamed you for something that wasn't your fault. Naturally, you felt hurt or angry. But have you ever noticed that not everyone reacts the same way to the same words? One person might shrug it off while another might cry. This difference shows that there is something inside each person, something about how they decide to handle the situation. That creates how they feel. This is the foundation of self-sovereignty, realizing our reactions come from within rather than from outside forces. In Buddhism, this idea is often linked to the concept that life brings many challenges, yet our inner peace can remain steady. If you picture a lake, sometimes storms cause waves on the surface, yet deep below, it stays calm. In a similar way, we can learn to remain steady on the inside, even if the outside world feels stormy. Self-sovereignty teaches us that no matter how loud or harsh someone's words might be, we can keep our inner lake peaceful by choosing our response. This shift isn't always easy, but it offers lasting freedom from getting emotionally tossed around. To understand self-sovereignty, it helps to see that our thoughts play a major role in shaping our emotions. When someone is mean to us, our minds might start thinking, "They hate me," or "I must be worthless." These thoughts often lead us to feel anger or sadness. If we catch these thoughts early and remind ourselves that they are just one way of interpreting the situation, we begin to see we have other options. Maybe the person is stressed, or maybe their comment has nothing to do with our true worth. By choosing a calmer thought, we protect our emotional health. You might wonder, does this mean I can never be angry or upset? Not at all. Emotions are natural, and it's okay to feel them. The difference is that with self-sovereignty, you aren't handing over control of your feelings to another person. You can still acknowledge, "I feel anger right now," but instead of letting that anger take over, you pause. In that pause, you remember you have a choice. This is like having a remote control for your inner world. You decide what channel you watch instead of letting events or people press your buttons for you. When someone tries to upset you, it can help to visualize a force field around your heart and mind. Then negative words can bounce off that protective shield if you decide not to let them in. Of course, this doesn't mean ignoring every hurtful thing or allowing people to treat you poorly. Instead, it means you recognize that their words do not define you. You stay aware of your worth and choose how to respond. Maybe you decide to speak up calmly, telling them their words are hurtful, or perhaps you walk away to keep your peace. Either way, you remain in charge. Self-sovereignty also involves taking responsibility for our reactions. If we blame others for making us angry, we give away our power. We say, I am helpless because of their behavior. But if we say, I feel this emotion and I can choose how I deal with it, then we become strong. We no longer depend on other people to behave perfectly for us to be okay. Instead, we discover we can maintain our calm center, regardless of what others say or do. This doesn't mean it's simple. Like any skill, it takes practice and patience to master our emotions. One helpful practice is to check in with your body when you start feeling upset. Notice if your shoulders are tense or if your heart is racing. Then take a few deep breaths. This gives you a moment to remember, I am the ruler of my emotional world. You might even say silently to yourself, I choose my response. A short pause can be enough to stop an automatic angry outburst. Instead, you can decide if you want to respond gently, set a boundary, or simply let the moment pass. Try imagining that your mind is like a calm ocean and someone tosses a pebble of insult or annoyance at the surface. It may make a ripple, but it doesn't have to create a massive wave. The pebble alone cannot stir the entire ocean. It only touches the top layer unless we allow it to sink deeper. By practicing self-sovereignty, we minimize the impact of life's pebbles. We accept that we will feel the splash, but we don't have to let it shake our entire sense of peace. Another technique is to reflect on times when you stayed calm in the past. Maybe you remember a situation where someone was yelling and you somehow managed to remain steady. How did you feel afterward? Likely you felt proud or at least relieved that you didn't get carried away by anger. Revisit that memory to encourage yourself. I have done this before, so I can do it again. We often forget these victories and only focus on times we lost our cool. But celebrating moments of self-control can strengthen our belief that we truly are in charge of our emotional life. Self-sovereignty does not mean becoming cold or emotionless. We can still care deeply about people and situations. The difference is that we choose how to direct our emotions rather than letting them run wild. If a friend is upset, we can offer them kindness and understanding without feeling pulled into their emotional turmoil. Our steadiness becomes a gift we can give, helping others feel safe and supported. When we stand firm in our own calmness, we might even inspire others to do the same. Sometimes people worry that if they don't get upset, they are letting others walk all over them. But staying calm and being a doormat are two very different things. We can calmly stand up for ourselves, clarify misunderstandings, and set limits. Imagine a strong tree with deep roots. Even if the wind blows hard, it remains upright. That doesn't mean it ignores the wind. It simply means the tree is stable. In the same way, we can address problems without losing our peace. This stability often earns more respect than reacting with anger. In daily life, there are many small moments where you can practice self-sovereignty. Maybe your sibling takes the last cookie without asking, or a friend at school makes a joke about you in front of others. Notice your first urge. Maybe you want to snap or say something mean back. Then pause, take a breath and remember, I'm in control of how I feel. I can choose another way. This doesn't mean you approve of their actions, but you decide not to hand over your peace. Over time, these small acts of self-control add up, making you stronger and more confident. If you find it hard to stay calm, try writing down situations that trigger you. Afterward, write how you reacted and consider other ways you might have responded. You could also journal about times you remained in control. Write about what you did, how it felt, and what made it possible. This reflection helps your mind learn that you truly can be the ruler of your emotional world. As you build this habit, you will see more opportunities to pause and respond thoughtfully instead of reacting on autopilot. Meditation is another powerful tool that can help strengthen self-sovereignty. Taking just a few minutes each day to sit quietly and watch your breath can teach your mind to be still. You might notice thoughts fluttering in and out, like clouds passing in the sky. Instead of clinging to them, you practice letting them go. This skill can be used in real-life situations too. When anger or frustration arises, you can observe that feeling for a moment and let it move on, just like a cloud. You remain peaceful at the center, aware that you are more than any single emotion. An important reminder is that self-sovereignty is a journey. We don't suddenly become masters of our emotions overnight. There will be times when you slip up or lose your temper. Instead of beating yourself up, be kind to yourself. Think, I am learning. Next time, I'll try again. Each challenge is an opportunity to practice. Over days, months, and years, you will notice a change in how you respond to life's ups and downs. Little by little, you'll see that people's words affect you less, and you recover faster from any bursts of anger or sadness. Finally, self-sovereignty is about recognizing that every person has their own emotional universe. We cannot control what others feel, but we can absolutely control ourselves. When you claim this freedom, you realize that nobody else can reach in and poke your heart unless you open the door. With this wisdom, you become like a calm lighthouse, shining steadily no matter how rough the waters outside might be. This inner strength leads to better relationships, clearer thinking, and more compassion for yourself and others. In the end, self-sovereignty is a path toward a life where you are no longer at the mercy of every harsh word or stressful situation. It doesn't mean you never feel strong emotions. Rather, you learn to hold those emotions gently, choosing whether to act on them or let them pass. By doing so, you remain true to yourself, keeping your peace and dignity intact. Embracing this practice transforms your world from a place where you feel pushed and pulled by others into one where you stand firmly on your own foundation. You become the calm in the storm, and from that place of steadiness, you can navigate life with greater wisdom and kindness. 4. Energy transmutation. Transform anger into high vibration power. Imagine you're holding a spark in your hands. That spark can either grow into a wild, damaging fire or help power a bright light that guides you forward. Anger works in a similar way when it flares up inside of us. It can burn wildly and harm our relationships or sense of peace if we let it. However, in many Buddhist teachings, we learn that anger does not have to be destructive. Instead, we can use this strong emotion like fuel, turning it into something that helps us rather than hurts us. This process is often called energy transmutation, and it's basically about redirecting anger so it raises us up instead of dragging us down. Understanding anger as energy. You might wonder, how is anger a type of energy? Think of a time you felt really mad. Maybe someone took your things without asking, or a friend said something hurtful. You might have felt your heart pound faster, your face get warm, or your muscles tense up. That rush you feel is your body's way of creating a burst of energy. If you were in a dangerous situation, that energy could help you defend yourself or escape. But in everyday life, we often don't need to fight or flee. Instead, the energy can get stuck inside us, making our mind race with upset thoughts. When that happens, anger starts to feel like a heavy weight. In Buddhism, there's a teaching that every emotion, even anger, can be transformed. The idea is to notice our feelings, accept them, and then decide what to do next. By treating anger as energy, we have the option to channel it into something that benefits us, like focusing on a goal, creating art, or solving a problem. It's like turning a rough wave in the ocean into a powerful current that pushes us forward. The first step: recognizing anger. Before we can transform anger, we need to notice it's there. Sometimes anger might show up as a small spark. Maybe we just feel annoyed for a moment. Other times it might seem like a raging fire that's hard to control. In either case, one of the first skills to learn is spotting the signs that you're getting mad. You might feel your hands clench or your breathing get faster. You might notice yourself thinking harsh thoughts, like wanting to yell or blame someone. When you sense anger coming up, pause for a moment and take a slow, deep breath. Ask yourself, what am I feeling right now? Simply naming the emotion, I'm feeling angry, can help you calm down enough to choose a better path. This step is important because it's hard to redirect energy if you don't realize you have it. The second step, accepting the feeling. Once you recognize you're angry, you might be tempted to ignore it or try to shove it away. But pushing feelings down often makes them build up until they burst out later. Instead, try reminding yourself that feeling anger is okay. Emotions, including anger, are natural signals that something inside you needs attention. Perhaps you feel threatened, hurt, or misunderstood. Accepting your anger without judging it can actually help you gain control. It's like saying to yourself, yes, I'm upset right now, and it's all right to have this feeling. In Buddhism, people often practice mindfulness to accept their emotions. Mindfulness means staying aware of what's happening in the present moment without trying to change it or make it go away too quickly. For anger, you can sit quietly and notice where you feel it in your body. Is your chest tight? Are your shoulders tense? Take a few breaths and just observe. By looking at anger this way, you give yourself space to decide what to do next, rather than letting anger boss you around. The third step, redirecting the energy. Now comes the transmutation part, the process of taking the energy that anger brings and turning it into something higher or more positive. If you think of anger like steam, it can power an engine if we direct it correctly. How do we do that? One common method is to use that charged feeling as motivation. Maybe you've been putting off cleaning your room or finishing a project. Channel that fiery energy into getting things done. Tell yourself, I can use how I'm feeling to power me forward. Another approach is to get physically active. You could go for a run, practice yoga, dance, or even just do some jumping jacks. Physical movement helps move the rush of anger out of your body. You're giving that energy a healthy outlet so it doesn't build up inside. Afterward, you might feel calmer and clearer, with enough balance to address the situation that made you angry in the first place. Creativity is also a powerful tool for redirecting anger. If you enjoy drawing, painting, playing music or writing, try pouring your feelings into your art. When you're angry, your mind is often bursting with energy and thoughts. This can make for a great spark of inspiration. You might write a story or poem about how you feel or paint shapes and colors that represent your mood. When you create something from anger, you transform it into a form of expression that can lead to healing. The fourth step, reflecting and learning. After you've channeled your anger into some form of activity, take a moment to reflect on what happened. Ask yourself, what made me angry in the first place? How did I choose to handle it? This reflection is like checking a road map after you've traveled to see which routes worked and which ones didn't. Maybe you realize that your anger started because you felt disrespected. You might learn that setting clearer boundaries or communicating your feelings early on could prevent future issues. Reflection also helps you grow. Over time, you'll see patterns in your reactions. Perhaps you get upset most often when you're tired or stressed. Knowing this can help you plan better self-care, like getting enough sleep or taking breaks during busy days. You'll also notice how redirecting your anger changes the outcome. Instead of having regret about losing your temper, you'll remember how you used your emotional energy to create something positive. By accepting that feeling and choosing to channel it into creativity, movement or productivity, you avoid the damage anger often causes. You also lift your own mood, stepping toward a higher, brighter vibration where you feel more at peace. This practice doesn't mean ignoring problems or pretending bad things never happen. Instead, it means making anger work for you instead of against you. So the next time you feel anger bubbling up, picture it like a strong wind. You can let it blow you off course, or you can adjust your sails and use that wind to speed ahead. With practice, you'll learn to guide that wind in a direction that benefits your life and the lives of those around you. That is the essence of energy transmutation, taking a powerful emotion and turning it into something that helps you shine brighter. By doing this regularly, you'll find that anger no longer drains you, but instead becomes a spark that fuels your best self forward. 5. The art of emotional alchemy, turning toxic energy into gold. Emotional alchemy is an idea drawn from Buddhist teachings where pain or harmful emotions become stepping stones toward deeper self-awareness and personal growth. Picture an ancient alchemist working with dull, lifeless materials to create shimmering gold. That transformation captures the essence of emotional alchemy. We take negative feelings such as anger or fear and refine them until they yield wisdom, empathy, or clarity. Rather than judging ourselves whenever we feel upset, we view these energies as raw materials. In this way, we learn that emotions, however uncomfortable, can help us evolve as individuals. This process is empowering because it allows us to remain open to all our feelings without getting stuck in negativity. By acknowledging the presence of anger or frustration and working to shift it into compassion or insight, we reclaim our emotional power and deepen our understanding of ourselves. At the heart of emotional alchemy, at the core of emotional alchemy is the understanding that negative emotions are not enemies to be eliminated, but signals calling for our attention. For example, when anger shows up, it often indicates a boundary has been crossed or a value has been threatened. Rather than ignoring or pushing it away, we can welcome anger as a teacher by asking questions such as, what situation triggered this feeling? Or which personal need am I neglecting? We transform what seemed like a destructive force into a catalyst for deeper insight. Through this lens, frustration becomes an invitation to investigate what matters to us. If we are willing to explore the roots of our anger, we often discover valuable lessons about our priorities, personal limits, and unspoken expectations. In this sense, each emotional challenge becomes a doorway to heightened self-awareness and healing. Practicing emotional alchemy. To practice emotional alchemy, we start by noticing our feelings as they arise without labeling them as good or bad. This awareness serves as the foundation of transformation. Instead of escaping discomfort, we allow ourselves to sit with it and explore its source. Are we scared of losing something we love? Are we hurt because someone's words clashed with our self-image? By drilling down to the root cause, we can understand the deeper meaning behind our reactions. Once we grasp that meaning, the energy within anger or sorrow can be directed toward new perspectives or action. If anger signals a need for respect, for instance, we might use that energy to communicate our boundaries more clearly. In this way, the raw force of the emotion is converted into constructive steps that benefit us and those around us. Acceptance lies at the core. Acceptance lies at the core of emotional alchemy. While it's tempting to bury feelings like anger or frustration, doing so often makes them resurface later with greater intensity. Buddhism encourages us to acknowledge each emotion as a natural part of being human. By recognizing their presence, we can gradually loosen the grip they have on us. This doesn't mean giving negative feelings free rein to control our words or actions. Rather, it involves observing them, understanding why they arise, and choosing a mindful response. Acceptance paves the way for transformation because it removes the resistance that often keeps negativity locked inside. When we stop fighting our emotions, they lose their power to overshadow our sense of well-being. We can then open the door to seeing what lessons they offer, and from that vantage point, begin the process of turning them into valuable insights. Asking targeted questions. As we embrace emotional alchemy, asking targeted questions becomes a powerful tool for growth. In Buddhism, reflective inquiry is a way to peel back layers of assumption or habit. When anger flares up, take a moment to ask, what value is being challenged here? Perhaps you value kindness, yet you perceive someone's words as unkind. Or maybe you value kindness, yet you perceive someone's words as unkind. Or maybe you crave security and a situation feels threatening. Identifying the underlying need or belief at the core of your anger can shed light on why you're feeling this way. From there, you can decide how best to address it, whether by calmly sharing your perspective, setting boundaries, or adjusting your own expectations. By reframing the emotion as a signal instead of a punishment, you move from reacting blindly to responding with clarity. Over time, these small steps help reshape your relationship with all intense emotions. Patience is vital. Patience is a vital part of emotional alchemy, since real transformation rarely happens overnight. When we encounter fear, sadness, or irritation, our instinct may be to make them vanish as quickly as possible. Yet, true mastery involves holding these feelings and allowing their deeper messages to unfold. Sometimes this means sitting quietly, breathing mindfully, and observing the thoughts that bubble up. Other times it means seeking the perspective of a counselor or a trusted friend. The main point is to remain open to the full experience of the emotion without rushing to escape it. Over time, this approach helps dissolve the negative charge around difficult feelings. You begin to see them not as threats, but as teachers guiding you toward better self-understanding and healthier choices. Every instance of skillfully handling frustration or grief strengthens the capacity to process future challenges with the same calm awareness. Ultimately, emotional alchemy invites us to embrace every feeling as part of our human experience. We no longer label certain emotions as purely negative or positive. Instead, we learn to work with them. The more we engage in this process, the more we realize that anger can lead to assertive action, sadness can deepen empathy, and fear can sharpen our awareness. This shift nurtures greater compassion for ourselves and others, since we understand that each of us carries emotional burdens and battles. Over time, these inner transformations radiate outward, improving our relationships and guiding us toward more mindful living. When we continually refine toxic energies into purposeful ones, we create a life rooted in balance and understanding. Each instance of practicing emotional alchemy builds upon the last, leading us step by step along a path of inner harmony. In this way, Buddhism's teachings on transformation become living wisdom within us. 6. Silence as power, the mastery of non-engagement. In our modern world, there's pressure to respond quickly to just about everything. We get texts, calls, and social media messages all day, and it feels like we must react right away, especially if someone says something that hurts us. But in Buddhism, there's a powerful idea that often goes against this urge: the power of silence. This doesn't mean we ignore all problems or never speak up for ourselves. Instead, it means recognizing that we don't have to engage with every provocation. Imagine someone hurling unkind words your way. Your first instinct might be to snap back. However, the practice of silence suggests pausing before responding or choosing not to respond at all if it won't be helpful. By learning when to stay silent, we protect our emotions and preserve our energy for what truly matters. Silence as a strategic choice. This concept might sound passive at first, but silence is far from weakness. Think of it as a calm shield that stops negativity from entering your heart. When someone tries to upset you and you answer with anger, you risk becoming part of a heated exchange. It's like fanning the flames of a small fire, making it burn bigger. On the other hand, when you remain silent, you deny that fire the oxygen it needs to grow. Eventually, it dies down on its own. This peaceful approach is about choosing not to waste time and energy in battles that don't serve you. By practicing silence, you set a boundary that says, "I won't let harmful words or actions disturb my inner peace." This boundary keeps you grounded and helps you avoid regrettable outbursts later. Silence gives room to think. Silence also gives you room to think. Often, when we're provoked, we respond without considering the possible consequences. Words said in anger can damage friendships or create tension at work or school. Then later, we regret what we've said. By pausing, even if it's just taking a deep breath and waiting a few seconds, you give your mind a chance to settle. During that brief moment, you can decide if it's worth speaking up or better to stay quiet. You might think, is this argument important enough to continue? Do I risk hurting someone with my words? Once we see the bigger picture, the power of silence becomes clear. We realize that it's often wiser to remain calm, collect our thoughts, and respond from a place of understanding rather than from heated emotion. Control over self. Another reason silence is so powerful is that it helps you keep control of yourself. We can't control what others say or do, but we can control how we respond. When we argue or shout back in anger, we hand our emotional power to the other person. It's as if we're saying, "You can decide how I feel right now." Buddhism teaches that nobody should have that kind of power over us. By choosing to remain silent, you're telling yourself and others, "I am in charge of my reactions." That sense of self-control can bring a deep feeling of peace. You're no longer a victim of harsh words or stressful events. Instead, you become someone who responds with wisdom. Silence as a brake pedal. In this way, silence is like a brake pedal that stops the cycle of negativity from running away with our emotions. It helps to imagine different real-life scenarios where silence can be helpful. Suppose you're in class and someone makes a rude remark about you. Your first reaction could be to fire back with an insult. But if you stay silent, you might notice the awkwardness that falls over the room. The other person's mean words don't get amplified by your own. Often, people realize they've crossed a line when they're met with silence rather than a fight. Or think about a situation at home. A family member is angry and starts yelling. If you respond with equal anger, the shouting might escalate, but by keeping quiet, you allow that person's anger to fade more quickly. Later, when emotions have cooled, you can discuss the issue calmly and find a healthier resolution. Silence doesn't mean avoidance. Of course, silence doesn't mean never addressing problems. If someone is being abusive or bullying, it's not wise to ignore it completely. The key is choosing the right time and way to respond. Maybe staying silent in the heat of the moment is best because both sides are too upset to communicate clearly. Once things calm down, you can explain how you felt or set firm boundaries. This approach shows emotional maturity because you're handling conflict on your terms instead of getting pulled into a heated back and forth. Silence, then, is not a permanent state, but a tool you can use whenever you sense that immediate engagement would only worsen the situation. By waiting until you're calmer, you stand a better chance of resolving the issue without letting anger or hurt spiral out of control. Silence encourages mindfulness. Another significant benefit of silence is how it encourages mindfulness. When we choose not to speak right away, we have time to observe our own thoughts and feelings. We can ask ourselves, am I upset right now because I feel disrespected, or am I frightened, sad, or disappointed? By naming these emotions and understanding their origins, we gain valuable insight into ourselves. Silence gives us the mental space to see what's really going on inside. This awareness can then guide us in choosing the healthiest response. Maybe after reflecting, you realize that the other person's words touched a deeper insecurity. Understanding that can help you respond more compassionately both to yourself and to the other person. In this sense, silence doesn't just keep the peace externally, it also fosters personal growth and healing within. By harnessing the power of silence, we also set an example for those around us. In a heated argument or group discussion, emotions can run high. People might talk over each other or trade barbs in quick succession. Yet when you remain composed and choose not to feed into the negativity, you shift the energy in the room. Sometimes others pause to reflect because they notice you're not reacting. They might tone down their words, realizing they don't want to argue alone. Over time, this approach can encourage a more respectful atmosphere. Moreover, silence in these tense moments can spark self-reflection in others. They may wonder why you haven't lashed out. This can open the door to calmer, more meaningful conversations later, where genuine understanding becomes possible. Your quiet presence can create a ripple effect of peace, building emotional resilience. Silence also builds emotional resilience over time. Each moment you resist the urge to snap back, you strengthen your capacity to handle stress and frustration. It's like exercising a muscle. Every time you choose calm over chaos, your emotional endurance grows. Challenges that once made you lose your cool feel easier to manage. Instead of feeling exhausted by constant battles, you become someone who can navigate conflict with grace. You learn that you don't have to fear your own strong emotions because you've practiced the skill of pausing and choosing a mindful response. In this way, the power of silence helps you stay steady even in the face of storms. Ultimately, silence is a profound act of self-care. By not throwing yourself into every argument or debate, you guard your mental and emotional health. There's a deep sense of liberation in realizing you don't have to engage with every insult or criticism that comes your way. You preserve your energy for the battles that matter, those aligned with your values and worthy of your time. Practicing silence and non-engagement in the Buddhist sense means staying attuned to your inner peace and choosing actions that reflect wisdom rather than impulsive reaction. Over time, you'll notice a shift. You feel calmer, more centered, and less disturbed by external drama. This is the beauty of silence as power. It doesn't silence your voice forever. It simply gives you the gift of choosing how, when, and why you speak. In short, silence can be a mighty tool for emotional stability. It keeps us from fueling negative situations, grants us space to think before reacting, and allows deeper awareness of our feelings. Far from weakness, this kind of silence shines as a symbol of inner strength. By learning to pause and engage only when necessary, we preserve our peace and nurture healthier connections with those around us. 7. Mastering the art of grace under pressure. Be unshakable. Mastering the art of grace under pressure is a deeply transformative skill that can dramatically reshape how we experience life. At its core, grace under pressure is about maintaining a calm, centered mindset, even when the events around us seem overwhelming. In Buddhism, this quality is often described as equanimity, a mental and emotional balance that remains undisturbed by external turbulence. This sense of inner composure allows us to handle challenges, conflicts, and personal crises with a steadiness that prevents us from being swept away by fear, anger, or despair. Responding thoughtfully to adversity. When we cultivate grace under pressure, we learn to respond thoughtfully to adversity rather than succumbing to knee-jerk reactions that can lead to regret or additional turmoil. In a world full of stresses and unexpected twists, developing this ability helps us navigate life more peacefully, ensuring that our emotional well-being is not dictated by circumstances beyond our control. Life's inevitable obstacles. Life inevitably presents obstacles that test our resilience, whether it's a disagreement with a loved one, a crisis at work, or a personal setback that shakes our confidence. We might find ourselves at the mercy of anxiety or frustration, with racing thoughts and tense muscles. Buddhism teaches that while we may not be able to control every situation, we can always control how we choose to react. The same event can trigger wildly different responses in two individuals. One might become consumed with anger, whereas the other might pause and remain calm. This divergence stems from an internal decision about what to do with the energy that arises in stressful moments. Recognizing our own experience. Recognizing that we are the creators of our own experience means accepting that external events do not have to define our emotional state. By remaining graceful under pressure, we resist the pull of chaos and instead choose a path of composure, clarity, and compassion. Observing natural reactions. A key aspect of this practice involves observing our natural reactions when faced with sudden stress. Often, our instinctual response is to let anger, fear, or impatience take over. For example, if someone accuses us of something we didn't do, if a coworker blames us unfairly, or if we receive harsh criticism from a friend, our hearts might pound as our minds flood with defensive thoughts. This is a perfectly human response, shaped by evolutionary biology that urges us to protect ourselves. Yet, the teaching of grace under pressure invites us to transform that split-second jolt of tension into an opportunity for mindful action. The liberating realization. One of the most liberating realizations when cultivating grace under pressure is that emotions are temporary. They surge, reach a peak, and then eventually recede. When we treat anger or anxiety as something unending, we unintentionally give it more power. By accepting that an emotion is transitory, we can allow it to flow through us without becoming attached. It's similar to watching storm clouds pass across the sky. We see them, acknowledge their presence, and understand that they will eventually move on. This perspective prevents us from becoming overwhelmed. Instead of letting anger or sorrow define us, we notice it arising and then watch it dissipate. Mindfulness as a cornerstone. Mindfulness is a cornerstone of this approach. By regularly practicing mindfulness, whether through meditation, contemplative walks, or simply paying closer attention to our thoughts and feelings, we train ourselves to notice the state of our minds and bodies in real time. This heightened awareness allows us to pick up on early signs of agitation. Perhaps we feel tightness in the chest, shallow breathing, or a clenching of the jaw. When we catch these signals, we can intervene before negativity spirals out of control. For instance, in the midst of an argument, noticing a flutter of defensiveness can prompt us to take a slow, deliberate breath instead of launching into an angry reply. Acceptance and compassion. Acceptance is another vital component of remaining graceful under pressure. Life does not always unfold according to our preferences. Traffic jams happen, deadlines pile up, misunderstandings occur, and people sometimes disappoint us. Yet, resisting what is already happening only compounds our suffering because it pits us against reality. By accepting that certain things are beyond our control, we free ourselves from unnecessary struggle. Acceptance doesn't mean resignation or passivity. Rather, It involves acknowledging that a situation exists in its present form and understanding that our distress arises when we wish it were different. The traffic jam, for example, is not inherently stressful. It becomes so because we want to be somewhere else at that moment. When we accept that we are stuck for the time being, we cease to fight against the reality of the situation. Instead, we can channel our energy toward what we can control, our mindset. Cultivating compassion and self-sovereignty. Compassion is another powerful aspect of grace under pressure, both for ourselves and for those around us. Under stress, people often feel an urge to meet demands perfectly, to maintain composure at all times, or to handle every task without error. This self-imposed pressure can lead to burnout or self-criticism. Granting ourselves compassion means acknowledging that it's natural to feel overwhelmed when life becomes intense. We recognize that it's okay to be human, to have bad days, and to occasionally stumble. By turning a gentle eye inward, we soften the edges of our own stress, allowing ourselves the patience to recover and learn from difficulties. Equally important is extending compassion to others. When someone else is frustrated or upset, responding with empathy can diffuse tension far more effectively than reacting with anger. Acknowledging another person's struggles and showing we understand their perspective fosters an environment of mutual respect. This, in turn, helps keep our own emotional equilibrium intact. Building resilience and applying concepts. Daily resilience is another key factor that underpins grace under pressure. Life's challenges are inevitable, but how we emerge from them can vary greatly. Some people crumble in the face of adversity, while others appear to grow stronger after each trial. Resilience is the capacity to bounce back and keep moving forward, even when circumstances seem daunting. We can develop resilience through regular practice of mindfulness, acceptance, and equanimity. Each time we weather a stressful situation successfully, we bolster our confidence in our ability to handle the next one. Rather than seeing challenges as threats, we start seeing them as opportunities to build inner fortitude. Over time, our resilience acts like an emotional muscle, one that grows stronger with each use, reinforcing our capacity for grace under even the greatest pressure. Applying these concepts in our daily routines helps them become second nature. For instance, the simple act of pausing and breathing can work wonders when we notice tension swelling, maybe during a heated discussion or right before giving a big presentation. Taking a few deep breaths clears the mental fog. These breaths give us time to process what we're feeling and to remind ourselves that we have the power to choose our next action. Mindfulness practices, whether they're formal seated meditations or short moments of focused attention on the present, likewise sharpen our ability to remain calm. Over time, these small repeated acts of self-awareness add up, preparing us to handle major life hurdles with more composure. We can also reframe our perspective on events we dislike or cannot control. Instead of complaining about an unwanted situation, we can ask ourselves, what can I learn here? How might this challenge help me grow? These questions shift our mindset from one of resistance to one of curiosity. By viewing stressful moments as learning opportunities, we strip away some of their power to upset us. Even if an outcome isn't ideal, the mindset of gleaning wisdom transforms each difficulty into a stepping stone. Another practice we can weave into daily life is consciously choosing compassion, whether it's on a busy commute, in the grocery store line, or during tense discussions. Compassion acts like a buffer against agitation. When we see someone acting out of anger, we might recall that they could be experiencing a hard day or personal struggles unknown to us. This doesn't excuse wrongdoing, but it broadens our perspective enough to respond with calm instead of heated judgment. Similarly, we treat ourselves with the same understanding, reminding ourselves that perfection is neither required nor realistic. This gentler approach wards off the cycle of blame and guilt that can accompany stressful moments. All of these strategies dovetail into a single outcome: the capacity to maintain grace under pressure. We become calmer, kinder, and more in control of our internal states, even as life's storms swirl around us. This doesn't mean we never feel stress or sadness. Rather, we learn to navigate those emotions without letting them capsize us. We acknowledge their presence, gather the insights they offer, and guide them toward constructive channels. Over time, we find that what used to overwhelm us no longer has the same hold. We can face heated arguments, looming deadlines, or personal disappointments with a steady core. The process of mastering grace under pressure is ongoing. There is no final destination where we are forever immune to life's trials. Instead, we cultivate this skill little by little, weaving equanimity into the fabric of our daily interactions. Each challenge that arises serves as a new opportunity to refine our practice. Each moment we pause instead of snapping or respond kindly, instead of attacking, adds to our reservoir of inner resilience. Through repetition, these moments accumulate and reshape the way we experience the world. In the end, grace under pressure is an invitation to live more fully in alignment with our highest values. Rather than allowing external chaos to dictate our mood, we ground ourselves in mindfulness, acceptance, compassion, self-sovereignty, and resilience. We view difficulties as pathways to growth and learn to remain calm in situations where we once felt powerless. This practice transforms not only our own well-being, but also the tone of our interactions and relationships. By choosing to carry ourselves with composure when tension looms, we send ripples of tranquility outward, encouraging others to do the same. And in those small, everyday acts of steady kindness and measured responses, we exemplify what it truly means to embody grace under pressure. 8. The art of letting go. Embrace change with open arms. The art of letting go is a central theme in Buddhist philosophy, focusing on the ability to release attachments to outcomes, possessions, and even emotions. It teaches us to embrace change as an inevitable part of life and to accept the transient nature of all things. This practice is not about indifference or lack of care, but about developing a deeper understanding of impermanence and finding peace in the ever-changing landscape of our lives. Understanding impermanence. At the heart of the art of letting go is the concept of impermanence. Everything around us, including our own experiences and emotions, is in a constant state of flux. Recognizing this helps us to reduce our attachment to specific outcomes or states of being. When we cling too tightly to something, whether it's a physical object, a relationship, or a career aspiration, we set ourselves up for suffering when the inevitable change occurs. Buddhism teaches that suffering arises from attachment, and thus learning to let go is a path to greater peace and happiness. Practical steps in letting go. 1. Mindfulness and awareness. The first step in mastering the art of letting go is to cultivate mindfulness. This involves becoming acutely aware of our thoughts, feelings, and sensations as they occur. By observing our experiences without attachment, we begin to see how transient they are. This awareness helps us detach from the desire to control or hold on to things. 2. Acceptance of the present moment. A key component of letting go is acceptance. This means fully accepting things as they are in the present moment without trying to change or resist them. When we accept that life is a series of changes and that we have limited control over external events, we can find peace even in challenging circumstances. 3. Reframing perspective. Changing our perspective on what it means to lose something can also facilitate letting go. Instead of viewing change as a loss, we can see it as an opportunity for growth and new experiences. This shift in perspective reduces the fear and pain associated with letting go. 4. Practicing non-attachment. Non-attachment does not mean not caring about outcomes. Rather, it means not getting caught up in the desire for a specific result. It's about putting forth our best effort without being attached to how things will turn out. This approach frees us from a lot of anxiety and disappointment. 5. Cultivating compassion and generosity. Letting go is also about being generous with our possessions, time, and love. By giving more freely, we loosen the grip of selfishness and attachment. Additionally, compassion towards ourselves and others makes the process of letting go less painful, because we are less focused on our own desires and more on the well-being of others. Embracing change. Embracing change is a natural extension of letting go. When we let go of our preconceived notions and accept that life is a flow of changing circumstances, we can adapt more easily to new situations. Embracing change allows us to be more flexible and resilient in the face of life's uncertainties. 1. Seeing change as natural. Recognizing that change is a natural and unavoidable part of life helps us to embrace it. This understanding encourages us to enjoy the good moments while they last, and to learn from the challenging ones. 2. Learning from experience. Every change brings with it a lesson. By embracing change, we open ourselves to learning from each new experience, which can lead to profound personal growth and increased wisdom. 3. Building resilience. The more we practice letting go and embracing change, the more resilient we become. Resilience allows us to navigate life's ups and downs with grace and to remain stable and peaceful regardless of external circumstances. Letting go in daily life. Incorporating the art of letting go into daily life involves small, consistent practices. It could be as simple as decluttering our physical space, letting go of grudges, or practicing meditation to clear the mind of persistent thoughts. Each act of letting go strengthens our ability to detach from material things, outcomes, and even emotional patterns that no longer serve us. Ultimately, the art of letting go teaches us that our well-being doesn't have to depend on clinging to things that are inherently transient. By embracing the flow of life and accepting the impermanence of all things, we open ourselves to a more peaceful and fulfilling existence. This practice not only enhances our own lives, but also allows us to contribute to the well-being of others, creating a ripple effect of peace and acceptance in the world around us. 9. Cultivating inner peace, the ultimate liberation. Cultivating inner peace is a profound aspect of Buddhist practice that emphasizes the development of a tranquil mind and serene spirit, irrespective of external circumstances. This journey to inner peace involves practices and principles that guide individuals to overcome disturbances, emotional turmoil, and the chaos of daily life, ultimately achieving a state of calm that radiates from within. The foundation of inner peace. Inner peace begins with the understanding that true peace cannot solely depend on external conditions. While our environment and interactions can influence our mood and state of mind, the essence of inner peace lies in our ability to maintain calmness and clarity, regardless of what's happening around us. 1. Mindfulness and meditation. At the core of cultivating inner peace is the practice of mindfulness and meditation. These practices help us anchor ourselves in the present moment, observing our thoughts, emotions, and sensations without judgment. Regular meditation nurtures a state of awareness that transcends momentary disturbances, allowing for a deeper connection with the self and a profound sense of peace. 2. Detachment from outcomes. Inner peace is greatly fostered by learning to detach from the outcomes of our actions. This doesn't mean we do not care about the results or abandon our responsibilities. Instead, it means we do not let our happiness or peace be dictated by success or failure. We learn to put in our best effort and accept the outcomes with equanimity. 3. Cultivating compassion. Compassion towards oneself and others is a cornerstone in the pursuit of inner peace. Self-compassion involves treating oneself with kindness during failures or difficult times, recognizing that imperfection is part of the human condition. Extending compassion outwardly, we empathize with others' suffering and strive to alleviate it, which in turn enhances our own sense of peace. Practical steps towards inner peace. Achieving inner peace is a gradual process that involves practical steps and consistent practice. Regular practice of meditation. Setting aside time for daily meditation helps to calm the mind and reduce stress. This can be as simple as spending a few minutes each day in quiet reflection or deep breathing exercises. 2. Mindful living. Practicing mindfulness throughout the day keeps us rooted in the present and less reactive to the ups and downs of life. This includes being fully engaged in whatever we are doing, from eating and walking to listening and speaking. 3. Simplifying life. Reducing physical and mental clutter can significantly enhance inner peace. This might involve decluttering living spaces, simplifying daily schedules, or eliminating unnecessary commitments that cause stress. 4. Harmonious relationships. Cultivating peaceful and supportive relationships contributes to our inner peace. This involves open communication, setting healthy boundaries, and fostering connections that are nurturing rather than draining. Challenges and resilience. While the path to inner peace may seem straightforward, it often involves navigating through personal challenges and emotional complexities. Inner peace requires resilience and the ability to bounce back from life's setbacks. 1. Acceptance of change. Embracing the impermanence of life and the inevitability of change helps in building resilience. By accepting that nothing is permanent, we reduce our resistance to change and increase our adaptability. 2. Learning from difficulties. Each challenge offers valuable lessons. By viewing difficulties as opportunities to learn and grow, we can maintain our inner peace even in turbulent times. 3. Balancing emotions. Managing our emotional reactions is crucial for maintaining inner peace. This involves recognizing our emotional triggers and finding healthy ways to express and regulate our feelings. The impact of inner peace. The benefits of cultivating inner peace extend beyond individual well-being. When we are at peace, we are better able to contribute positively to our communities and the world. Inner peace promotes a kinder, more considerate and compassionate approach to interactions with others. It acts as a stabilizing force, enabling us to approach life's challenges with a calm demeanor and solutions-oriented mindset. In summary, cultivating inner peace is not just about achieving tranquility for oneself, but also about enhancing the quality of life for others around us. It is a continuous journey that enriches our existence, making us more mindful, compassionate, and resilient beings. By committing to this path, we unlock the ultimate liberation that comes from within, allowing us to navigate the complexities of life with grace and poise. 10. The path of mindful living. Integrating mindfulness into everyday life. Mindful living is the practice of maintaining an acute awareness of our thoughts, actions, and motivations throughout the day, encouraging a deep connection with the present moment. This approach stems from Buddhist teachings, which emphasize mindfulness as a way to reduce suffering and enhance personal peace. Integrating mindfulness into everyday life not only improves mental and emotional well-being, but also deepens our relationships and enhances our experiences. Understanding mindfulness. Mindfulness involves being fully aware of what is happening both inside and outside ourselves, moment by moment. It's about observing our thoughts, feelings, bodily sensations, and the environment around us with an open, non-judgmental attitude. By practicing mindfulness, we can step back from our habitual, often unconscious reactions to everyday events, gain clarity, and make more thoughtful decisions. Practical steps to mindful living. 1. Start with meditation. Meditation is the training ground for mindfulness. Regular practice helps develop the ability to concentrate and stay present. Even a few minutes each day can build a foundation for greater mindfulness throughout the day. 2. Mindful eating. Transform eating from a mindless act into a mindful experience. Pay attention to the taste, texture, and aroma of your food, as well as your body's hunger and fullness cues. This not only enhances the enjoyment of eating, but can also prevent overeating and aid digestion. 3. Mindful walking. Turn routine walks into meditative experiences. Notice the sensation of your feet touching the ground, the sounds around you, and the feel of the air on your skin. This practice can transform a simple walk into a profound exercise in mindfulness. 4. Engage fully in tasks. Whether you're washing dishes, driving, or working on a report, fully immerse yourself in the activity. Notice when your mind wanders and gently bring it back to the task at hand. This helps reduce stress and increase productivity and satisfaction with your work. 5. Mindful listening. When interacting with others, practice fully focusing on the person speaking. Avoid planning what you'll say next or getting distracted by your surroundings. Mindful listening can significantly improve your relationships by making others feel valued and understood. Benefits of mindful living. 1. Reduced stress. By focusing on the present, mindfulness reduces the tendency to worry about the past or the future. Major cess. Benefits of mindful living. 1. Reduced stress. By focusing on the present, mindfulness reduces the tendency to worry about the past or the future, major sources of stress. 2. Enhanced emotional regulation. Mindfulness allows us to recognize and accept our emotions without being overwhelmed by them. This awareness is key in managing difficult emotions more effectively. 3. Increased empathy and compassion. Mindful awareness of our own thoughts and feelings helps us understand the internal experiences of others better, fostering empathy and compassion. 4. Improved physical health. Research has linked mindfulness to better health outcomes, including lower blood pressure, reduced chronic pain, and improved sleep. Challenges in mindful living. Integrating mindfulness into daily life is not without its challenges. Distractions, busy schedules, and entrenched habits can all make mindfulness difficult. However, the flexibility of mindfulness as a practice means it can be adapted to fit any lifestyle or schedule. The key is consistency and the willingness to return to mindfulness again and again, no matter how many times you may get distracted. Mindfulness as a lifelong journey. Mindfulness is not a destination but a journey. It's about continually coming back to the present moment and refining our ability to exist peacefully within it. As we practice, we discover that mindfulness becomes less something we do and more a way we are. This transformation has the potential to profoundly change how we relate to ourselves, to others, and to the world. Cultivating a mindful society. Beyond personal benefits, mindful living has the potential to transform societies. By reducing reactivity and promoting thoughtful responses, mindfulness can lead to more peaceful interactions and compassionate communities. As more individuals adopt mindful practices, these qualities can permeate social interactions, potentially leading to broader societal changes. In conclusion, the path of mindful living is about embracing each moment with awareness and grace. It requires practice and patience, but offers significant rewards in enriched experiences and deeper connections. By integrating mindfulness into everyday life, we open ourselves to the fullness of our existence and cultivate a profound inner peace that can weather any storm. 11. Harnessing the power of compassion. Building connections that heal. Harnessing the power of compassion is a transformative aspect of Buddhist practice that focuses on developing a deep sense of empathy and concern for the suffering of others. Compassion is not only about feeling with someone in their pain, but also involves taking action to help alleviate that pain. This powerful practice strengthens our emotional resilience, deepens our relationships, and can lead to a more harmonious society. Understanding compassion. Compassion is a multifaceted emotion that involves recognizing the suffering of others and feeling motivated to help relieve it. It extends beyond mere empathy, which is the ability to understand another's feelings. Compassion includes a more active desire to contribute to the well-being of others. In Buddhist philosophy, compassion is seen as a path to enlightenment, helping us to overcome selfish tendencies and connect more deeply with the interconnectedness of all life. Cultivating compassion in daily life. 1. Mindfulness and self-compassion. The foundation for external compassion is self-compassion. By being kind and understanding toward ourselves, especially in moments of failure or difficulty, we can better extend these feelings to others. Mindfulness meditation often incorporates practices that enhance self-compassion, which in turn facilitates a compassionate attitude towards others. 2. Active listening. Truly listening to others without judgment or the intention to respond immediately can foster deeper empathy and compassion. Active listening involves giving your full attention to another person, acknowledging their feelings without trying to fix or dismiss their concerns. 3. Volunteering and acts of kindness. Engaging in volunteer work or small acts of kindness can nurture a compassionate mindset. These activities provide direct ways to alleviate others' suffering and can make the concept of compassion more tangible and actionable. 4. Educating yourself about others' experiences. Understanding the challenges and struggles that different people face can foster compassion. This might involve reading, watching documentaries, or engaging in conversations that expose you to perspectives outside your own experiences. Benefits of compassion. 1. Enhanced emotional well-being. Practicing compassion can lead to increased happiness and a sense of fulfillment. Helping others can create a feedback loop that enhances our own emotional resilience and decreases symptoms of depression and anxiety. 2. Improved relationships. Compassion helps build stronger, more supportive relationships by showing genuine concern and 2. By showing genuine concern and empathy for others, we create bonds based on mutual respect and understanding. 3. Reduced prejudice and social division. Compassion encourages us to see beyond our differences. By empathizing with the struggles of others, we can break down barriers and build a more inclusive community. 4. Physical health benefits. Studies have shown that compassion can have positive effects on physical health, including lowering blood pressure, boosting the immune system, and increasing longevity. Challenges to compassion. While the benefits of compassion are significant, there are challenges to consistently practicing it. 1. Compassion. Fatigue. Those who frequently deal with others' suffering, such as healthcare providers or caregivers, may experience compassion fatigue. This can lead to burnout if not managed properly through self-care and setting emotional boundaries. 2. Overwhelming emotions. At times, the pain of others can be overwhelming. It's important to balance empathy with emotional self-regulation to avoid becoming engulfed by the suffering we wish to alleviate. Integrating compassion in a broader context. On a societal level, fostering a culture of compassion can lead to more humane policies and a greater focus on social welfare. Communities and organizations can encourage compassion through initiatives that promote social responsibility and provide support for those in need. Conclusion. Harnessing the power of compassion is not just about alleviating others' suffering. It is about transforming our own lives and the world around us. By actively developing compassion, we can build a foundation for more meaningful interactions and a more caring society. This journey of compassion brings us closer to a collective experience of interconnectedness, where the well-being of others directly contributes to our own, and vice versa. In cultivating compassion, we not only help others, we profoundly enrich our own lives and contribute to a more harmonious world. 12. Developing wisdom through insight. Understanding the deeper truths of existence. Developing wisdom in Buddhist practice involves cultivating a deep understanding of the nature of reality and our own existence. This process, known as gaining insight, allows us to see beyond surface appearances and societal conventions, to understand the deeper truths that govern our lives. Through insight, we come to comprehend the impermanent, unsatisfactory, and non-self characteristics of all phenomena, leading to a more profound, liberating wisdom. The essence of insight, or vipassana in Pali, is a critical aspect of Buddhist meditation and practice. It involves a direct and intuitive understanding of the truths of suffering, its causes, its cessation, and the path leading to its cessation. This kind of wisdom is not just intellectual, but is experiential, arising from deep meditation and mindful observation of our thoughts, feelings, and sensations. Practical steps to cultivate insight. Meditative practice. Regular meditation is the foundation for developing insight techniques, such as mindfulness meditation. Focus on observing the mind and body processes without attachment, allowing practitioners to experience the transient and impersonal nature of these processes directly. 2. Contemplation of the three marks of existence. In Buddhism, all conditioned phenomena are said to have three characteristics: impermanence, anicca, suffering or unsatisfactoriness, dukkha, and non-self, anatta. Regular contemplation and observation of these characteristics in one's experiences can lead to a profound understanding of reality. 3. Study of Buddhist teachings. Engaging with the texts and teachings of Buddhism can provide the theoretical knowledge necessary to frame one's meditative experiences. Learning from teachers or participating in study groups can also enhance understanding and application of these concepts. 4. Mindful reflection. After meditation or during daily activities, taking time to reflect on one's experiences can help deepen insight. This involves analyzing feelings, thoughts, and sensations to understand their impermanent and non-self nature. Benefits of developing wisdom through insight. 1. Reduced suffering. By understanding the true nature of reality, one becomes less attached to material possessions, status, or even ideas of self. This reduces the emotional and psychological suffering associated with loss and disappointment. 2. Enhanced decision-making. With a clearer understanding of the nature of things, one can make decisions that are more aligned with reality rather than being based on delusions or misconceptions. 3. Increased compassion and empathy. Insight into the universal nature of suffering enhances one's empathy for others, fostering a deeper connection and a more compassionate approach to relationships. 4. Greater emotional equilibrium. Wisdom provides a stable base that is not easily shaken by life's ups and downs. It offers integrating equanimity in daily life. Incorporating equanimity into daily life involves applying the principles learned through practice into everyday situations. This might look like taking a few deep breaths and recalling the principle of impermanence when faced with stress. Practicing mindfulness in everyday activities to enhance presence and balance. Using moments of minor irritation as opportunities to practice equanimity. Conclusion. Embracing equanimity is a powerful way to enhance one's life and interactions. It provides the mental clarity and emotional stability necessary to face life's challenges with grace and wisdom. By cultivating equanimity, one can achieve a deeper sense of peace and fulfillment, making it a cornerstone of a balanced and insightful life. This sublime state not only benefits the individual, but also contributes to the well-being of those around them, as equanimity fosters a calm, compassionate, and understanding approach to all aspects of life. 14. The journey of self-discovery, unveiling your true nature. The journey of self-discovery in Buddhist practice involves a profound exploration of one's true nature and the realization of one's deepest self. This path is not merely about understanding personality or individual traits, but about uncovering the fundamental nature of being that transcends the ego and superficial identities. Through this journey, practitioners aim to achieve a clear understanding of the self, which in Buddhism is often linked to the concepts of emptiness and non-self, anatta. Understanding self-discovery. Self-discovery in Buddhism challenges conventional notions of selfhood. It encourages a questioning of the fixed ideas we hold about who we are, prompting a deeper investigation into the mind and consciousness. This exploration is rooted in the belief that our usual perception of self is an illusion, masked by the layers of social conditioning, emotional attachments, and personal history. Cultivating self-discovery. 1. Meditation and mindfulness. Meditation is the cornerstone of self-discovery in Buddhism. Techniques like Vipassana, insight meditation, encourage practitioners to observe their thoughts, feelings, and sensations without attachment, gradually revealing the non-substantial nature of what we consider the self. 2. Studying Buddhist teachings. Engaging with the teachings of Buddhism on impermanence, suffering, and non-self can provide the intellectual framework necessary for deep self-inquiry. This study helps to deconstruct the ingrained beliefs about personal identity. 3. Retreats and spiritual guidance. Attending meditation retreats or seeking the guidance of experienced teachers can accelerate the process of self-discovery. These settings provide the focused environment needed for intensive practice and learning. 4. Ethical living. Buddhist ethical practices, such as the 5 precepts, support self-discovery by reducing mental clutter caused by guilt, regret, or moral dilemmas. Ethical living simplifies the mind, making it more conducive to deep introspection. Benefits of self-discovery. 1. Freedom from suffering. By understanding the non-self nature of existence, individuals can free themselves from the suffering caused by clinging to a false sense of identity. This realization leads to greater peace and equanimity. 2. Enhanced compassion and empathy. As self-discovery deepens, so does one's compassion for others. Recognizing that all beings share the same fundamental nature fosters a profound empathy and a desire to alleviate suffering. 3. Greater authenticity. Through self-discovery, individuals can live more authentically, aligned with their true nature, rather than societal expectations or personal illusions. 4. Spiritual enlightenment. Ultimately, the path of self-discovery can lead to spiritual enlightenment, or nirvana, which is the ultimate goal in Buddhism, freedom from all mental afflictions and illusions. Challenges in self-discovery. The journey of self-discovery is not without its challenges. 1. Confronting deep-seated illusions, facing and letting go of deeply held beliefs, and the ego can be unsettling and emotionally challenging. 2. Persistence and discipline. Continuous practice and dedication to meditation and mindfulness require significant discipline and can be demanding over time. 3. Emotional fluctuations. As deeper insights into the self emerge, they can provoke strong emotional responses that need to be managed mindfully. Integrating insights into daily life. Integrating the insights gained from self-discovery into daily life is crucial. This might involve continuously practicing mindfulness to maintain an awareness of the non-self, applying the principles of compassion and empathy in interactions with others, regular reflection on one's experiences and insights to deepen understanding and wisdom. Conclusion. The journey of self-discovery is a central aspect of Buddhist practice that offers profound insights into the nature of self and reality. It challenges and enriches one's understanding of existence, leading to significant personal and spiritual growth. By embracing this journey, individuals not only enhance their own lives, but also contribute to the welfare of others, embodying the compassionate and wise principles of Buddhism. 15. Nurturing spiritual growth. Evolving beyond material concerns. Nurturing spiritual growth is a pivotal aspect of Buddhist practice that focuses on transcending the materialistic aspects of life to reach a deeper, more profound state of existence. This spiritual evolution involves expanding one's consciousness beyond the immediate concerns of the physical world, fostering a connection to something greater than oneself. It emphasizes the development of virtues such as wisdom, compassion, and mindfulness, cultivating a life that is not just lived, but profoundly experienced. Understanding spiritual growth. In Buddhism, spiritual growth is seen as the path toward enlightenment, a journey that involves shedding ignorance and illusion to reveal the true nature of reality. This growth is not a linear progression, but a continuous process of learning, unlearning, and relearning, which deepens one's understanding of the self and the universe. Practical steps for nurturing spiritual growth. 1. Regular meditation practice. Central to spiritual development, meditation deepens one's understanding of the mind and its patterns, leading to greater insight and inner peace. 2. Study of spiritual texts. Engaging with the teachings of the Buddha and other spiritual texts enriches one's understanding and supports the application of these teachings in daily life. 3. Community engagement. Participating in a community of like-minded individuals, often known as a sangha in Buddhism, provides support and encouragement for spiritual practices. 4. Mindful living. Integrating mindfulness into daily activities enhances one's awareness and presence, fostering a deeper appreciation for life and its transient beauty. Benefits of spiritual growth. 1. Inner peace. As spiritual understanding deepens, it brings about a profound inner peace that remains stable despite external circumstances. 2. Clarity and purpose. Spiritual growth clarifies life's purpose and provides a sense of direction that transcends mundane goals and challenges. 3. Resilience. A strong spiritual foundation increases resilience, helping individuals navigate life's difficulties with grace and equanimity. 4. Compassionate existence. Spirituality enhances one's capacity for compassion, driving efforts to alleviate suffering in oneself and others. Challenges in spiritual growth. Spiritual growth, while enriching, is not without its challenges. 1. Confronting ego and attachment. One of the major hurdles is confronting and letting go of ego and attachments, which can be painful and difficult. 2. Consistency and discipline. Maintaining a consistent spiritual practice requires discipline and dedication, which can be demanding. Navigating spiritual dry spells. Periods of stagnation or doubt are common on the spiritual path and require perseverance and faith to overcome. Integrating spiritual growth into daily life. To truly benefit from spiritual growth, it must be integrated into one's daily life. Applying spiritual principles in interactions with others, such as practicing patience, kindness, and understanding. Using challenges as opportunities for spiritual lessons rather than obstacles. Reflecting regularly on one's experiences to derive insights and continue growing. Conclusion. Nurturing spiritual growth is an essential aspect of Buddhist practice that offers a richer, more meaningful experience of life. This growth leads not only to personal transformation, but also to a positive impact on the world through compassionate actions and a peaceful presence. As individuals evolve spiritually, they contribute to a collective elevation of consciousness, fostering a more mindful and compassionate world. 16. The harmony of ethics and practice. Living with integrity. In Buddhism, the harmony of ethics and practice is crucial for a well-rounded spiritual life. This integration involves adhering to ethical principles while deepening spiritual practice, ensuring that one's actions align with their spiritual values. This blend of moral conduct and dedicated practice fosters a life of integrity and wholesomeness, enhancing personal growth and contributing to the well-being of the community. Understanding the role of ethics in Buddhism. Ethics in Buddhism are primarily encapsulated in the 5 precepts, which serve as guidelines for moral conduct. These precepts include abstaining from taking life, stealing, sexual misconduct, false speech, and intoxication. Adhering to these precepts is seen not merely as following rules, but as a way to cultivate a mind force. These precepts include abstaining from taking life, stealing, sexual misconduct, false speech, and intoxication. Adhering to these precepts is seen not merely as following rules, but as a way to cultivate a mind free from guilt, remorse, and distractions, which is essential for deeper meditation and spiritual progress. Cultivating harmony between ethics and practice. 1. Mindful adherence to precepts. Mindfulness is key in observing the precepts, requiring one to be aware of their actions, speech, and thoughts continually. This mindfulness helps prevent ethical lapses and supports a more considered approach to daily interactions. 2. Regular reflection. Regularly reflecting on one's behavior in light of ethical teachings helps identify areas for improvement and reaffirms commitment to these principles. 3. Community involvement. Engaging with a spiritual community provides a support system for ethical living. It offers a space to discuss ethical dilemmas and find guidance, encouraging accountability and growth. 4. Integration of meditation. Meditation strengthens the mental clarity and emotional stability needed to adhere to ethical principles, even in challenging situations. Benefits of ethical living in conjunction with spiritual practice. 1. Enhanced spiritual insight. Ethical living purifies the mind, reducing inner turmoil and guilt, which can obstruct meditative depth and spiritual insights. 2. Trust and respect from others. Ethical behavior builds trust and respect within one's community, facilitating more meaningful and supportive relationships. 3. Inner peace and happiness. Living in alignment with ethical principles brings a sense of peace and contentment, knowing one's actions do not contribute to the suffering of others or oneself. 4th, karmic benefits. In Buddhism, ethical conduct is believed to generate good karma, leading to better circumstances in this life and future rebirths. Challenges in integrating ethics with practice. While the integration of ethics and practice is ideal, it presents challenges. 1. Navigating modern complexities. Modern life situations can sometimes make strict adherence to ethical precepts challenging, requiring nuanced decision-making and sometimes leading to ethical dilemmas. 2. Consistency in practice. Maintaining consistency in both ethical behavior and spiritual practice can be demanding, especially in stressful or adverse conditions. 3. Dealing with failures. Ethical lapses can lead to guilt and self-criticism, which must be managed constructively to prevent discouragement. Integrating ethics into daily life. To effectively integrate ethics into daily life, consider the following approaches. Set clear personal goals based on ethical principles and review them regularly. Use daily incidents as opportunities to practice ethical decision-making. Engage in community service, which acts as a practical application of ethical teachings. Conclusion. The harmony of ethics and practice in Buddhism is not just about following rules, but about living a life of integrity and spiritual depth. This integrated approach not only enriches one's spiritual journey, but also fosters a compassionate, wise, and peaceful society. By living ethically and deepening one's spiritual practice, individuals contribute to a collective moral and spiritual upliftment, embodying the principles of Buddhism in everyday actions and interactions. 17. Overcoming obstacles on the path. Strategies for resilience. In the journey of Buddhist practice, practitioners often encounter various obstacles that can impede their progress towards enlightenment. These challenges are not just barriers but opportunities for growth, teaching resilience and providing deeper insights into the nature of the mind and reality. Understanding and overcoming these obstacles is essential for advancing in spiritual development. Identifying common obstacles in Buddhist practice. 1. Doubt, uncertainty about the teachings, one's own abilities, or the path itself can hinder progress. Doubt can paralyze decision-making and sap motivation. Attachment, clinging to material possessions, relationships, or even ideas, can lead to suffering and distraction from spiritual goals. 3. Aversion, negative reactions towards unpleasant experiences or people can reinforce harmful patterns and prevent the acceptance necessary for growth. 4. Laziness, lack of effort or enthusiasm in practice can lead to stagnation. Overcoming laziness is crucial for maintaining consistency in meditation and other spiritual disciplines. 5. Restlessness and worry. A restless mind, constantly distracted by worries or trivial thoughts, can make concentration and meditation difficult. Strategies for overcoming these obstacles. 1. Regular meditation. Establishing a consistent meditation practice helps in managing doubt, attachment, and aversion by fostering a deeper understanding and acceptance of their impermanent nature. 2. Study and reflection. Engaging deeply with Buddhist teachings through understanding the importance of patience. Patience in Buddhism is often seen as a counterforce to anger and frustration. It involves the ability to endure hardship, delay gratification, and tolerate uncertainty and discomfort without becoming disturbed. This quality is crucial in maintaining a calm and balanced mind, which is vital for effective meditation and spiritual growth. Strategies for cultivating patience. 1. Mindfulness meditation. Regular practice of mindfulness meditation helps in developing patience by enhancing one's ability to remain present and composed, regardless of external circumstances. 2. Reflection on impermanence. Contemplating the impermanent nature of all things can foster patience by reminding us that all difficulties and annoyances are temporary and will pass. 3. Compassion practice. Engaging in practices that cultivate compassion, such as metta meditation, loving kindness, helps develop patience by increasing one's empathy and understanding towards others. 4. Exposure to challenges. Intentionally exposing oneself to challenging situations in a controlled manner can strengthen patience. This could involve practicing patience in everyday scenarios, like standing in a long queue or dealing with difficult people. Benefits of patience. 1. Reduced stress and anger. By fostering a more tolerant and accepting attitude, patience helps reduce feelings of stress and anger, leading to a more peaceful existence. 2. Improved relationships. Patience allows for more thoughtful and less reactive interactions with others, enhancing personal and professional relationships. 3. Deeper wisdom. Patience is often accompanied by a deeper reflection on life's challenges, leading to greater insights and understanding. 4. Enhanced resilience. Patience builds emotional resilience, enabling individuals to handle life's ups and downs more effectively. Challenges in cultivating patience. Developing patience can be a challenging process, especially in a world that often values speed and instant results. 1. Cultural challenges. In cultures that prize efficiency and quick results, practicing patience can sometimes be seen as laziness or indecision. 2. Personal frustrations. Initial efforts to be patient can sometimes lead to increased frustration, especially when old habits of reactivity are strong. 3. Misinterpretation. Patience must be carefully balanced with assertiveness to ensure that it is not mistaken for passivity or a lack of initiative. Integrating patience into daily life. To effectively integrate patience into daily life, consider the following approaches. Set realistic expectations. Adjust your expectations to be more in line with reality, which can reduce frustration and impatience. Practice gratitude. Regularly reflecting on what you are grateful for can shift focus away from frustrations and toward appreciation, fostering patience. Slow down. Intentionally slow down your pace in activities where speed is not critical. This can help cultivate a more patient mindset. Conclusion. Patience is a profound practice within Buddhism that enriches both personal and spiritual dimensions of life. It enhances the ability to navigate life's challenges with equanimity and depth, leading to a more thoughtful, compassionate, and wise existence. As such, patience is not just a virtue to be cultivated in isolation, but a fundamental aspect of a balanced and insightful life. By embracing patience, individuals can transform their approach to life's challenges, leading to greater peace and fulfillment. 19. The power of silence, embracing quietude for inner strength. In Buddhist practice, silence is not merely the absence of sound, but a profound tool for deepening meditation, enhancing self-awareness, and fostering a peaceful mind. Embracing silence helps to quiet the constant chatter of the mind, allowing practitioners to explore deeper realms of consciousness and connect more fully with their inner self. This practice is essential for those seeking to understand the subtleties of their mind and emotions and to cultivate a state of tranquility and insight. Understanding the significance of silence. Silence in Buddhism is often linked to the concept of inner peace and spiritual depth. It provides a respite from the distractions of daily life and the incessant noise of modern existence, offering a space for introspection and contemplation. By reducing external stimuli, silence can help sharpen one's focus, making it easier to observe thoughts and feelings without attachment or judgment. Cultivating silence in daily life. One dedicated quiet time. Setting aside specific times for silence each day, such as during meditation or early in the morning, can help integrate this practice into daily life. These periods of quietude are not just about absence of speech, but also about reducing digital distractions. 2. Silent retreats. Participating in silent retreats can provide a more immersive experience. 2. These retreats offer structured environments where silence is maintained over several days or weeks, deepening one's practice and understanding of silence's benefits. 3. Mindful activities. Engaging in activities that encourage silence, such as walking in nature, practicing yoga, or simply sitting quietly without devices, can enhance one's capacity for quietude. 4. Communication fasts. Periodically choosing to abstain from unnecessary talking and digital communication can help cultivate deeper silence and reduce the compulsion to always be connected or engaged. Benefits of embracing silence. 1. Enhanced mental clarity. Silence can significantly reduce mental clutter, leading to greater clarity and better decision-making. 2. Emotional regulation. Quietude allows for better emotional awareness and control, helping individuals respond to situations with more calmness and less reactivity. 3. Spiritual insights. In the depths of silence, many practitioners report experiencing profound insights and a greater sense of spiritual connection. 4. Stress reduction. Silence has been shown to lower stress levels by calming the mind and body, thus promoting a state of relaxation and peace. Challenges in practicing silence. While beneficial, practicing silence can present challenges, particularly in a society that often values constant communication and activity. 1. Discomfort with quietude. Initially, many people find silence uncomfortable or anxiety-inducing, as it forces them to confront their inner thoughts and feelings directly. 2. Social expectations. Choosing silence can sometimes be misunderstood by others as withdrawal or disinterest, requiring clear communication about one's intentions. Maintaining consistency. Incorporating silence into daily life consistently can be challenging given the demands and distractions of modern life. Integrating silence into everyday practices. To effectively integrate silence into one's life, it is beneficial to create a conducive environment. Designate a specific area in your home where silence is preserved and valued. Communicate your practice. Share with friends and family about your practice to help them understand and respect your periods of silence. Reflect on your experiences. After periods of silence, take time to journal or reflect on any thoughts, feelings, or insights that arose during these times. Conclusion. Embracing silence is a powerful practice within Buddhism that offers profound benefits for mental, emotional, and spiritual well-being. It fosters a deeper connection with oneself and the world around, providing clarity and insight that can transform one's approach to life. As practitioners deepen their engagement with silence, they often discover an inner strength and tranquility that significantly enhances their quality of life. 20. The path of gratitude, cultivating joy and contentment. Gratitude is a cornerstone of spiritual practice in Buddhism, fostering a mindset of appreciation and contentment that transcends life's challenges. The path of gratitude encourages individuals to focus on the abundance in their lives rather than on what is lacking, transforming their perspective and deepening their sense of joy and fulfillment. It is a practice that cultivates mindfulness, strengthens relationships, and nurtures inner peace. Understanding gratitude in Buddhism. Gratitude in Buddhism goes beyond simply feeling thankful. It is an acknowledgement of the interconnectedness of all beings and the recognition of the countless contributions that sustain our existence. From the food we eat to the teachings we receive, gratitude reminds us of our dependence on others and the importance of humility and reciprocity. Practices for cultivating gratitude. 1. Daily gratitude. Reflection. Set aside time each day to reflect on what you are grateful for. This could include people, experiences, or even small moments of beauty and kindness. 2. Gratitude. Journaling. Writing down things you are thankful for helps solidify this practice. Over time, this journal becomes a tangible reminder of the abundance in your life. 3. Mindful acknowledgement. Practice being present and consciously acknowledging the positive aspects of your current experience. For example, savor the taste of a meal or appreciate a kind gesture. 4. Expressing gratitude. Make it a habit to express your gratitude to others, whether through words, actions, or small tokens of appreciation. This not only strengthens your relationships, but also reinforces your sense of interconnectedness. 5. Gratitude meditation. Incorporate gratitude into your meditation practice. Focus on the people, opportunities, and experiences that have positively impacted your life and allow yourself to feel deep appreciation for them. Benefits of practicing gratitude. 1. Increased happiness. Gratitude shifts focus from what is lacking to what is present, fostering a greater sense of joy and contentment. 2. Enhanced relationships. Expressing gratitude strengthens. 2. Enhanced relationships. Expressing gratitude strengthens bonds with others, deepening connections and promoting mutual respect and kindness. 3. Reduced stress and anxiety. A grateful mindset reduces negative thinking, helping to alleviate stress and promote emotional resilience. Improved health. Studies have shown that gratitude can lead to better sleep, lower blood pressure, and a stronger immune system. 5. Greater spiritual awareness. Gratitude aligns with Buddhist teachings on interdependence and impermanence, enhancing spiritual growth and understanding. Challenges in cultivating gratitude. 1. Negative mindsets. When facing hardships, it can be challenging to focus on what is good. Gratitude requires conscious effort to shift perspective. 2. Cultural barriers. In some contexts, expressing or practicing gratitude may not always be encouraged or understood, making it harder to integrate into daily life. 3. Consistency. Maintaining a gratitude practice requires discipline, especially during periods of stress or adversity. Integrating gratitude into daily life. To make gratitude a part of your everyday experience, consider starting your day with a gratitude affirmation or reflecting on something positive before bed. Using reminders, such as objects or notes, to trigger feelings of gratitude throughout the day. Engaging in acts of kindness, which naturally foster feelings of appreciation and reciprocity. Conclusion. The path of gratitude is a transformative journey that enriches both spiritual and worldly aspects of life. By embracing gratitude, we align ourselves with the principles of mindfulness, compassion, and interdependence, creating a life imbued with joy and contentment. This practice not only benefits the individual, but also has a ripple effect, fostering positivity and connection in the world around us. In cultivating gratitude, we come to realize that every moment offers something to be thankful for, deepening our appreciation for the beauty and abundance of life. If you found this exploration of mindful eating insightful and wish to continue your journey in discovering the profound teachings of Buddhism, please consider liking this video, sharing it with others. Support helps us share more teachings and practices that can transform lives and foster a deeper understanding of mindfulness and spiritual growth. Thank you for watching, and may you find peace and fulfillment in every moment of your journey.